Hi, everybody. This is Allison from Allykatkreations. How are you? I'm tired, but I'm a-okay. Sorry I didn't post a video yesterday. Some miraculously happened to me yesterday. I was able to clear out my storage space. That's right. I said it. It's all now in the house. So what happened yesterday? The guy I'm seeing packed his truck up with as much as he could, and then we went back at night to get the rest. It's all clean now. Go me go. But then it was cleaning everything and putting everything together that needed to get put together. I have a kitchen table. I can actually eat on the table now. I'm super excited. So sorry about not being on yesterday. A lot of good things, but exhausting. So if you guys please like, share, and subscribe to my video. You see, I don't know if you see that. It had a thumbs up. And if you get anything from my work, I connect the dot, an epiphany, a mind blown moment, a new book to read, a new author to explore, please consider supporting my work. All the links are at the bottom of the description. And if you like art like I do, Christmas is coming, holidays are coming. Shop small, small business. You can see all my stuff. I didn't update the recent stuff just yet. AllyKatzkreations211.com. If you're interested in any of the artwork, I am not expensive. I actually don't profit much off of anything I do because the materials are expensive. I rather you just get the fairness of the inflation happening on everything I buy. But I really make to cost. I don't make to profit yet. So the Hermit's journey. Thus spoke Zarathustra, because we finished Manly Hay Hall, but the stories in here are vital. And that camera is going to make me want to chuck it out the window. There's so much I want to say. So much. But I'm going to let Nietzsche do his work through the character of Zarathustra. What I will say is, with the upcoming eclipse energy coming in, the previous eclipse that just happened, there's a lot of chaos in our outer world. And there's also narratives being steered so that we jump on the bandwagon of whatever agenda is out there, whether it be financial, whether it be, oh my goodness, war and all kinds of nonsense. Okay, here's the thing though. Did you check your heart space? I don't think too many people go and ask themselves. They're just taking the information they hear, and if it sounds great, yay. Many of us who go in are starting to see, I'm hoping those of you who are doing the work are seeing both sides of the coin doing dirty. I don't care how many documents my pal printed. Not all of the information that you get is correct. And that's only because truth is at a frequency of your understanding and perception. So whatever you are frequenting, you're getting this layer of that frequency of truth. When you raise your frequency, the truth becomes different because you're seeing the deeper layers of that truth in a higher vibratory state. And each time you keep rising, you start understanding the components of what is really happening. And it's your free will choice to steer with your heart or follow the outside world that is being created through the collective in a negative vibratory state. Even if things mean good intentions. The hopium is getting ridiculous. And some of these things are distractions. So if you are a hermit right now, like many of us try to be, you're in a good spot. Just involuntary bliss. With such riddles and bitterness in his heart, Zarathustra crossed the sea. But when he was 4 days away from the Blessed Isles and from his friends, he had overcome all his pain, triumphed, and with firm feet he stood on his destiny again. And then Zarathustra spoke thus to his jubilant conscience. I am alone again, and I want to be so. Alone with the pure sky and open sea. Again, it is afternoon around me. It was in the afternoon that I once found my friends for the first time. It was afternoon the second time too, at the hour when all light grows quieter. For whatever of happiness is still on its way between heaven and earth, now seeks a shelter in a bright soul. It is from happiness that all light has grown quieter. O afternoon of my life, whence my happiness too descended to the valley to seek shelter, and found those open, hospitable souls. O afternoon of my life, what have I not given up to have one single thing? This living plantation of my thoughts and this morning light of my highest hope. Companions the Creator once sought, and children of his hope. And behold, it turned out that he could not find them unless he first created them himself. Thus I am in the middle of my work, going to my children and returning from them. For his children's sake, Zarathustra must perfect himself. For from the depths one loves only one's child and work, and where there is great love of oneself, it is a sign of pregnancy. Thus I found it to be. My children are still verdant in their first spring, standing close together and shaken by the same winds, the trees of my garden and my best soil. And verily, where such trees stand together, there are blessed isles. But one day I want to dig them up and place each by itself, so it may learn solitude and defiance and caution. Gnarled and bent and with supple hardness, and shall then stand by the sea, a living lighthouse of invincible life. Where the storms plunge down into the sea and the mountain stretches out its trunk for water, there every one shall once have his day and night watches for his testing and knowledge. He shall be known and tested, whether he is of my kind and kin, whether he is the master of a long will, taciturn, even when he speaks, and yielding so that in giving he receives, so that he may one day become my companion and a fellow creator and fellow celebrant of Zarathustra, one who writes my will on my tablets to contribute to the greater perfection of all things. And for his sake and the sake of those like him, I must perfect myself. Therefore, I now evade my happiness and offer myself to all unhappiness for my final testing and knowledge. Remember, duality, polarization is both poles, soul source. All of source. I tried fixing the camera settings. It doesn't work. I don't know where to go and how to do that. And I'm a techie person. Anywho, sorry for this back and forthness. So what I want to highlight, I must perfect myself. Therefore, now evade my happiness and offer myself to unhappiness for my final testing and knowledge. How does one gain wisdom and experience? By going through events, going through things, going through challenges, being tested by the universe. Many of us chose a harder life to have hard experiences so that we can help others walk through them. And as we heal and release, we perfect ourselves. So we have a better handle and understanding of the components of what it took for you to heal and to move on and to learn. Let's put that as a note. And verily, it was time for me to leave, and the wanderer's shadow, and the longest boredom, and the stillest hour, they all urged me. It is high time. The wind blew through my keyhole and said, "Come," cunningly. The door flew open and said to me, "Go." But I lay there, chained to the love for my children. Desire set this snare for me, the desire for love, that I might become my children's prey and lose myself to them. Desire, this means to me to have lost myself. I have you, my children. In this experience, everything shall be secure and not sorry guys, everything must be security and nothing desire. But brooding, the son of my love lay on me. Zarathustra was cooking in his own juice. Then shadows and doubts flew over me. I yearned for frost and winter. Oh, that frost and winter might make me crack and crunch again. I sighed. Then icy mist rose from me. My past burst its tombs. Many a pain that had been buried alive awoke, having merely slept hidden in burial shrouds. Shadow work. Thus everything called out to me in signs. It is time, but I did not hear until at last my abyss stirred and my thought bit me. Alas, abysmal thought that is my thought. When shall I find the strength to hear you burrowing without trembling anymore? My heart pounds to my very throat whenever I hear you burrowing. Even your existence in silence wants to choke me. You, who are so abysmally silent. As yet I have never dared to summon you. It was enough that I carried you with me. As yet, I have not been strong enough for the final overbearing, prankish bearing of the lion. Your gravity was always tremble enough for me, but one day I shall yet find the strength and the lion's voice to summon you. And once I have overcome myself that far, then I also want to overcome myself in what is still greater, and a victory shall seal my perfection. Shadow work. Meanwhile, I still drift on uncertain seas. Smooth-tongued, accident flares me. Forward and backward I look, and still see no end. As yet the hour of my final struggle has not come to me, or is it coming just now? Verily, with treacherous beauty, sea and life look at me. O afternoon of my life, O happiness before evening, O haven on this high seas, O peace is uncertainty. How I mistrust all of you. Verily, I am mistrustful of your treacherous beauty. I am like the lover who mistrusts the all too velvet smile, as he pushes his most beloved before him, tender even in his hardness and jealous. Thus I push this blessed hour before me. Away with you, blessed hour. With you, bless came to me against my will. Willing to suffer my deepest pain, I stand here. You came at the wrong time. Away with you, blessed hour. Rather seek shelter there with my children. Hurry and bless them before evening with my happiness. Their evening approaches, even now the sun sinks. Gone, my happiness. Thus spoke Zarathustra, and he waited for his unhappiness the entire night, but he waited in vain. The night remained bright and still, and the happiness itself came closer and closer to him. Towards morning, however, Zarathustra laughed in his heart and said mockingly, happiness runs after me. That is because I do not run after women, for happiness is a woman. Odd. Before sunrise. O heaven above me, pure and deep, you abyss of light. Seeing you, I tremble with God-like desires to throw myself into your height, that is my depth. To hide in your purity, that is my innocence. Gods are shrouded by their beauty, thus you conceal your stars. You do not speak, thus you proclaim your wisdom to me. Today you rose for me silently over the roaring sea. Your love and your shyness are the revelation to my soaring soul. That you came to me, beautiful, shrouded in your beauty. That you speak to me silently, revealing your wisdom. Oh, how should I not guess all that is shy in your soul? Before the sun you came to me, the loneliest of all. We are friends from the beginning. We share grief and ground and gray dread. We even share the sun. We do not speak to each other because we know too much. We are silent to each other. We smile our knowledge at each other. Are you not the light from my fire? Have you not the sister soul to my insight? Together we have learned everything. Together we have learned to ascend over ourselves to ourselves and to smile cloudlessly, to smile down cloudlessly, from bright eyes from a vast distance with constraint and contrivance and guilt stream beneath us like rain. And when I wandered alone, for whom did my soul hunger at night? On false paths? When I climbed mountains, whom did I always seek on the mountains, if not you? And all my wandering and mountain climbing were sheer necessity and a help in my helplessness. What I want with all my will is to fly up into you. And whom did I hate more than drifting clouds and all that stains you? And I hated even my own hatred because it stained you. I loathe the drifting clouds, those stealthy great cats which prey on what you and I have in common. The uncanny, unbounded yes and amen. We loathe these meditators and mixers, the drifting clouds that are half and half, and have learned neither to bless nor to curse from the heart. Rather would I sit in a barrel under crossed heavens, rather sit in the abyss without a heaven than see you, bright heaven, stained by drifting clouds. And often have I the desire to tie them fast with the jagged golden wires of the lightning, that like thunder I might beat the big drums on their kettle belly, an angry kettle drummer, because they rob me of your yes and amen. O heaven over me, pure and light, you abyss of light, because they rob you of my yes and amen. For I prefer even noise and thunder and storm curses to this deliberate doubting cat's calm. And among men too, I hate most of all the soft treaders and those who are half and half and doubting, trottering in drifting clouds. And whoever cannot bless should learn to curse. This bright doctrine fell to me from a bright heaven. This star stands in my heaven even in black nights. But I am one who can bless and say, yes, if only you are about me, pure and light, you abyss of light. Then I carry the blessing of my yes into all abysses. I have become one who blesses and says yes. And I fought long for that, and I was a fighter, that I might one day get my hands free to bless. But this is my blessing, to stand over every single thing as its own heaven, as its own round roof, its azure bell in eternal security. And blessed is he who blesses thus. For all things have been baptized in the well of eternity and are beyond beyond good and evil. And good and evil themselves are but intervening shadows and damp depressions of drifting clouds. Yes! I don't care how nihilistic, existential this man is. Truth. Remember, good and evil need to now be transcended. You did this experience. Hi, your soul needed the growth. You needed all this trauma. You needed the experience to learn from. But now we're moving into new uncharted territory. We are looking in the abyss and upstairs in the abyss, because as above, so below. You need to know of both. You need to experience both in order to make the conscious choice to have a cause and effect in whatever polarity you would like to choose from, positive or negative. The hard part is coming into that awareness, coming into that neutrality, that we're all one, including, it's not, you don't get to choose who's a part of the one. Everything is a part of the one. So why are you going against a part of yourself with hate? Oh, I'm love and light, but you don't know your dark side. You got to know both sides of yourself. You have two polarities in this vehicle, a positive and a negative. Yeah, there are days you got to put your boundaries up. You got to be the You got to be one of those. You have to transcend a lot of things. And that's not easy. But if you're not willing to do shadow work, you're not willing to look at the deeper parts of yourself, the darker pieces of yourself, the naughty pieces of yourself, you're not going to be able to come into neutrality because you only know one thing: love and light. And I'm all about love and light, but I'm about rational and practicality. I dealt with my demons. I've dealt with my shadow. I'm still dealing with my shadow. That work doesn't end. It doesn't matter if you send to the fifth dimension, fifth density. Hey, that doesn't matter. You still got to do the work. No one gets a free pass. Verily, it is a blessing and not a blasphemy when I teach over all things, stand the heaven accident, the heaven innocence, the heaven chance, the heaven prankishness. By chance, that is the most ancient nobility of the world, and this I restore to all things. I delivered them from their bondage under purpose. This freedom and heavenly chair I have placed over all things like an azure bell, when I taught that over them and through them no eternal will wills. This prankish folly I have put in the place of that will when I taught in everything one thing is impossible: rationality. A little reason to be sure, a seed of wisdom scattered from star to star. This leaven is mixed in with all things. For folly's sake, wisdom is mixed in with all things. A little wisdom is possible indeed, but this blessed certainty I found in all things, that they would rather dance on the feet of chance. O heaven over me, pure and high, that is what your purity is to me now, that there is no eternal spider or spider web of reason, that you are to me a dance floor for divine accidents, that you are to me a divine table for divine dice and dice players. But you blush. Did I speak the unspeakable? Did I blasphemy, wishing to bless you? Or is it the shame of twosomeness that makes you blush? Do you bid me go and be silent because the day is coming now? The world is deep and deeper than the day had ever been aware. Not everything may be put into words, into the presence of the day, but the day is coming, so let us part. O heaven over me, bashful and glowing, O you, my happiness before sunrise, this day is coming, so let us part. Thus spoke Zarathustra. And for many of us humans in this paradigm of this holographic, ontological, mathematical, simulated matrix that we all wrote for ourselves, because we created this universe, we created this matrix, we collectively did all of this to ourselves. Do the work, because now is the parting of the sea, literally. It's energy. You're getting your light codes, you're getting expanded consciously. If you are sitting back and starting to think, well, if we're all one and everything is of source, why am I hating the other parts of myself that are playing a role so God can have an experience? If God and I have a contract, why should anybody judge that? That's between me and source. So why are you judging other people for the experiences that source wants to have through them? Oh, because you don't like them? Oh, because they did things to kids? Well, what happens if that kid made that assignment? And we know it's something you don't want to see. No one should have to deal with. No one should have to even think about it. But this stuff happens for a reason. And we need to have a little bit of grace and compassion For the things that are unknowing to us, we put the veil of forgetting here. We put it in. We came in, birthed, veil of forgetting. That comes with our soul. And our soul only unfolds what our higher selves will allow us to see from other aspects of ourselves. But if you don't go and do the work, you're not going to have those exposures, and they can come in dreams, daydreams, vivid dreams. They can come in a many multitude of forms. I get snapshots. It looks like an old film reel going through, and I'm seeing the energetic connection to myself and something else having experiences. So again, not everybody has these things yet, but it is the time where we are consciously expanding. And not everything can be brought to the tangible material world just yet. We are not, as a collective, ready for what is coming. Because if you drop the veil, and I know that my veil has been dropped more so than a lot others, and I can see things a lot of people can't see, so people think I'm crazy. If you only knew it was under the skin suit. Scary to think about. That was all about shadow work. Carlos Castaneda has a better way of phrasing it, though. Just my opinion. The last section I'm going to read is on passing by. Thus, walking solely among many peoples and through numerous towns, Zarathustra returned on a roundabout paths to his mountains and his cave. And on the way, he also came unexpectedly to the gate of the great city. But here, a foaming fool jumped toward him without outspread hands and barred his way. This, however, was the same fool who the people called Zarathustra's ape. For he had gathered something of his phasing and cadence, and also liked to borrow from the treasures of his wisdom. But the fool spoke thus to Zarathustra. "O Zarathustra, here is the great city. Here you could find nothing and lose everything. Why do you want to wade through this mere? Have pity on your foot. Rather spit on the city gate and turn back. Here is hell for a hermit's thoughts. Here great thoughts are boiled alive and cooked till they are small. Here all great feelings decay. Only the smallest rattle-bone feelings may rattle here. Don't you smell the slaughterhouses and ovens of spirit even now? Does not this town steam with the fumes of slaughtered spirit? Don't you see the soul hanging like a limp, dirty rag? And they still make newspapers of these rags. Don't you hear how the spirit has been reduced to plays on words? It vomits revolting verbal swill, and they still make newspapers of this will. They hound each other and know not where. They overheat each other and know not why. They tinkle with their tin, they jingle with their gold. They are cold and seek warmth from brandy. They are heated and seek coolness from frozen spirits. They are all diseased and sick with public opinions. All lusts and vices are at home here, but there are also some here who are virtuous. There is much serving virtue, much serviceable virtue with pen and fingers and hard sitting, waiting flesh, blessed with little stars on the chest, with padded rumples daughters. There is also much piety, and there are many devout lip spittles, batteries of fakers, and flattery bakers before the God of hosts. For it is from above that the stars in the gracious spittle tickle. Every starless chest longs above. The moon has her courtyard, and the courtyard has its moon claves. To everything, however, that come from the court, the beggarly mob and all serviceable beggar virtue pray. I serve you. Serve, we serve thus all serviceable virtue prays to the prince, that the deserved star may finally be pinned on the narrow chest. The moon, however, still revolves around all that is earthly. So too the prince still revolves around that which is earthliest, but that is the gold of the shopkeeper. The gold, the God of hosts, is not God of gold bars. The prince purposes, but the shopkeeper disposes. By everything in you that is bright and strong and good, O Zarathustra, spit on the city of the shoekeepers and turn back. Here all blood flows putrid and lukewarm and spumy through all the veins. Spit on the great city, which is the great swill room, where all the swill spumes together. Spit on the city of the compressed souls and narrow chests of Popeyes and sticky fingers, on the city of the obtruse and the impudent, the scribble and scream throats, the overheated, ambitious, conceited, where everything infirm, infamous, lustful, dusky, overmusty, can't say that word, plotting, putrefies together. Spit on the great city and turn back. Here, however, Zarathustra interpreted the foaming fool and put his hand over the fool's mouth. Stop at last, cried Zarathustra. Your speech and your manner have long nauseated me. Why did you live near the swamp so long until you yourself have become a frog and a toad? Does not putrid, spumy swamp blood flow through your own veins now? You have learned to croak and revile thus. Why have you not gone into the woods or to plow the soil? Does not the sea abound in the green isles? I despise your despising, and if you warned me, why did you not warn yourself? Out of love alone shall my dispersing and my warning bird fly up, not out of the swamp. They call you my ape, you foaming fool, but I call you my grunting swine. With your grunting, you spoil for my praise of folly. What was it that first made you grunt? That nobody flattered you sufficiently. You sat down to this filth as to have reason to grunt much, to have reason for much revenge. For all your foaming is revenge, you vain fool. I guess it well. But your fool's words injure me, even where you are right. And even if Zarathustra's words were 1,000 times right, still you would always do wrong with my words. Thus spoke Zarathustra, and he looked at the great city, sighed, and long remained silent. At last he spoke thus: I am nauseated by this great city too, and not only by this fool. Here, as there is nothing too better, nothing too worse. Woe unto the great city, and I wish I had already saw the pillar of fire in which it will be great burned. For such pillars of fire must precede the great noon, but this has its own time and its own destiny. Keywords there. This doctrine, however, I give you full as a parting present. Where one can no longer love, there one should bypass. Thus spoke Zarathustra, and he passed by the fool and the great city. Wise words. Very wise words. I don't know what's going on with my camera, guys. I do apologize. It's awkward to have my face like I'm very far from my camera and it's like, hello. Oh, you see, it's listening to me now. Odd. Gremlins. We need to get that shadow work done. You can equate the fool to people that are speaking for others right now in the paradigm. Are you going in your heart space? Are they just reflections of other things that are other words spoken not so beautifully? That's why I have a longer time disseminating books, because I don't like to go on my own words, because the words that were spoken out into existence has a specific frequency. So very interesting and a lot to absorb from that. So I know when I first read this book, I reread a lot of sections over again because the full capacity of the message is hidden and not easy to unfold, especially when I was in my early 20s. But now with bigger and more soul growth and bigger perspective and introspection, it makes a lot of sense to a hermit's journey, where you go out and you're finding other things that are opposed to you, where you have to let go of what you think will make you happy and just letting life and living it. I think too many people are caught up on everything outside of themselves, searching for somebody to save them, when it's you yourself that needs to be saved by yourself. You are supposed to be a part of God, whether you want to believe in one or not. Energy does not die. So regardless if you believe in an almighty or not, you still are particles condensed in a little dense form. It's up to you to maintain your emotional status and how you project your inner world outside to your outer world. When you have chaos and stress and burdens going on within your mind, it projects out into the physical realm. If you wake up every day with hatred in your heart because they did it, this one did it, that person's horrible, and this and that, and everything's bad. Okay, so that's what's projecting out into your field. Is that what you want? I don't think too many people are applying the under and understanding what being one with all is, where we go one, we go all. Okay, all doesn't mean some. Does it? Someone explain this to me. Where we go one, we go all. All things, all people, bad, good, the ugly, the profane. You don't get to pick and choose what source wants. That's up to source and the higher ended consciousness. So as we are in our little hermitdom, crawling out and seating people, just be aware of putting your boundaries up, seeking the shadow within yourself and healing it, and understanding there is no true happiness. You have to create it for yourself. And sometimes going into the uglier parts of your life, in order to heal it, let it go, release it, will bring on better vibrations and higher frequency into your life. You got to do the work, and it has to start somewhere. We're at this point in time that we need to start doing the work, because the work never ends. That's the thing. I say we need to start because I don't want anybody being left that is supposed to come on the journey behind. This is not going to happen overnight. This is not going to happen in one flash. This isn't going to happen because, oh, the poles are going to flip. They already flipped. They've been flipped. Why are we living in this fear? Why are we spreading fear? Go within. Live your life to the fullest, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. And anybody that's been sick and on the brink of death and had near-death experiences and watched other people die, I could tell you right now, the woulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda's happened and came out of their mouths. Except for 2 or 3 people I know that got diagnosed with cancer at a young age. They lived to their fullest, the best that they could, mull through life in pain and suffering. They lived their life. They went out and consciously each day made sure that they had a good day, because the rest of them were falling apart and was in pain. But you know what? They did what they could to make the best out of a shit situation. So if we start making a conscious effort to take breaths and to start transcending those things that no longer serve us in our own mental gymnastic Olympics happening in our head, the better are we going to be for it. And usually when you are by yourself, it is easier to have that reflection time. It's easier to sit in meditation and just release. It's easier to go into a park, into ground by yourself, unless you have a partner who is super into the same stuff that you are, and most people don't. We are on this huge journey and we came so far from that cave. We're seeking the God within us. Manly P. Hull spoke about it a lot in that book. It's finding the divinity in you, what's special about you. It's like we're Captain Planet, all of us together. When we combine all of our like decoder rings and push them together, will happen. But if you're not whole inside, your decoder ring isn't going to blast the light that it needs to blast to help the collective to become Captain Planet. I'm just using that as a silly reference. Lighten the mood. I want a decoder ring, damn it. But for real, if we really all just sat down, and we all have amazing abilities. The stories that people tell me about what they do and what experiences that they had, it's amazing. And I wish more of those people would speak about their experiences, because it would change other people to start coming into their empowerment to say, well, I have this experience and I have this ability. It's great. What are you using your abilities for? Make a conscious effort to put yourself out there a little bit more, to teach others. Because when we all combine our abilities and our powers, we each individually have something special that's unique to us, but that together, working together in a group, things can happen. Like pushing the consciousness into a positive polarity. But I'm ranting on. Got lots of downloads, and also the last few days I've been getting a lot of downloads and a lot of epiphanies. I think it's my 3, 6, and I don't know where I am in my month. I get my downloads every 3, 6, and 9. And usually I get a heavy load at the 9 mark, and then like it takes me months to sift through it all because it's a lot of energy and a lot of stuff to take in. But I'm sending each and every one of you light, love, shielding, and protection. Please be safe. Please be sane. It's going to get cold, so I hope everybody dresses a little warmer. Depending what part of the world you're at, in the United States, half of us are going to be cold. Be aware. Try to go and get some grounding in before it really gets cold out. And there are other ways to ground that if you're not in nature or near nature. I really hope that this sections I've read helps somebody. That's all I'm here to do, is try to help steer people, because I know the difficulty of being alone, like physically. I know what it is. Like yesterday, I never thought was ever coming, because I couldn't lift physically by myself, even to put it on a dolly or a hand cart. And I'm really strong. And I put a lot of things here together. I didn't think I was going to get anybody to help me. And I changed my mindset to stop negative self-talk. And someone came into my life that is turning out to be a very humble, sweet person that loaded the truck up and got me all settled in within a day. Never thought that was ever going to happen. But I've put that out of my mind, that that's negative self-talk. Well, it's not going to happen. If it's going to happen, it's divine timing. I stopped thinking about it. And now it's manifesting because I stopped and I gave universe control. I didn't have any expectations on who was going to come and ring my doorbell to help me. It came to be because I stopped thinking about it and I stopped negative self-talk. Not easy to do, because we're all critical of our own selves. We all look in the mirror and be like, well, what can I improve today? Oh yeah, I gotta lose some weight. Gotta eat, gotta do this, gotta do that. But instead of just encompassing that this is your body and it's okay if it's not perfect, that doesn't make you a soul. It's just a vehicle. Love yourself. Walk in your authenticity. Stop trying to impress other people. Impress yourself first. F everybody. Big middle finger back there. And the reason why I use the cursing is because if you don't like the God aspect that I'm playing, I know what I am, not ashamed of it. I stand in my empowerment to walk in my authenticity each and every day and do me, because that's what God wants. Source, the infinite intelligence, a creative spirit, whatever you want to call it. So with that, guys, it's a lot, it's dense and there's a lot to really absorb there. But tell me what you think. Tell me about your journey, and love to hear that stuff. And thank you for the comments. Thank you to the new subscribers. I know a lot of people know who I am from We Not Me and the Time Is Now podcast. Please go check those two channels out on Rumble. But in the same breath, there's a lot of new people that don't know about that politosphere. And thank you for joining me in this journey that I'm taking, but I'm taking you with me because there's a lot of gaining knowledge and experience that I hope that I can impart on you by reading some of these amazing books, regardless of the author. A lot of people can't stand Nietzsche, but he brings a different type of perspective that we need. I believe we need. Spirit says yes. My spirit guides might not be your spirit guides. So I hope everybody has a beautiful, wonderful beginning of the weekend. and hopefully I get another 2 videos. This weekend's going to be a little crunchy. I don't know if I'm going to have videos out. We'll see. And by the 28th, I'll try to get in an oracle reading for everybody. We'll see how I am with the energy in the house. It's been off, but it's okay. Okay, guys. Hope all of you have a wonderful evening, wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you on the next one.